Hey guys, how's it going today? I hope you guys are doing all right out there. Things are a bit wobbly here. I told you guys yesterday about some earthquakes, and we've had quite a lot of little simmering earthquakes over the last 24 hours in Tokyo and in Japan in general. Does that lead up to something bigger? Who knows, or is that just the way that the earth sort of keeps its pressure from popping, in one big bash? Who knows? We don't know these things. They are saying we're 30 years overdue for the big one in Tokyo, so fingers crossed that isn't what's coming down the line. But you guys were asking in the comments down below about, what's going on with that. For me, that's a big thing right now, and of course the lockdowns. But what we need to do is we need to get into the shoe today. This is a sneaker channel, and we always go into the shoes and talk mainly about that first, and then anything about that personal stuff, we'll leave that to the back end of the video. So let's get into these shoes today and talk about them. What we're going to do is we're going to be able to have these beautiful shoes. I might actually say this is my favorite shoe of all time. I just love this shoe. When I unboxed this, I literally said in the video that this is so beautiful, I'm never going to wear it, and I actually haven't. I haven't worn these guys except like in the house once. They've never been on foot outside. So but we'll use this today because I wanted to use these fire reds to sort of compare the materials on here, because it's really the materials that makes the upcoming release of the Nike Air Jordan 3 Animal Instinct 2.0, and it's the materials that's really the main focal point. There's also another element of the colors in there that we're going to have a look at too, but those two together are the real big talking points on the sneaker. But then also the drop date's another talking point. So things are kind of kicking off with this shoe a little bit unexpectedly, if you ask me, and I'll get into all that today as we take a close-up look at the Nike Air Jordan 3 Animal Instinct 2.0. This is the Tokyo Butter 23 Sneaker Channel, Tokyo Butter 23 Sneaker Channel des.毎日アップするので毎日見てください. And every day I bring you content from Tokyo, Japan about upcoming sneaker releases, sneaker news and sneaker reviews. And today we're looking at that upcoming release of the Nike Air Jordan 3 Animal Instinct 2.0. And I think I'm right in saying these guys are due to drop on May 23rd, but that's the new reality, and that's what the title of this video was, is the new reality for sneakers. And we're using this drop of the Animal Instinct 2.0s to do that, because the drop date on these guys has been all over the shop, and it's still all over the shop. Big websites like Sneaker News have got this shoe down as June 6th or 7th. I've got it on my Sneakers app as May 23rd. Now, if it's on the Sneakers app, hopefully that means you can take it to the bank May 23rd. So, but it was originally due to drop earlier in the season. The whole coronavirus thing has made an absolute mess of the drop dates. All sneakers are out of sync and things like that. So this one, which was due to drop in a couple of weeks' time, is actually going to drop in a couple of days' time. And that's why I thought, you know what, it's on the radar, let's do a video about that, especially as I've got these beautiful boys to compare them to and to talk about. So so let's get into that and talk about the materials on them, because that's the main thing that I really want to focus on in today's video, is the materials that make it up. Now, there is one material in there that I'm not entirely sure which one it is. So there's two parts to the material things where you can help me out, and I love it when that happens, because part of me having this channel was to learn about sneakers, not just to sort of be like the all-seeing eye about sneakers. I definitely am not the authority. I just know many things, maybe not a lot, but many things. But as far as the materials go, I think I've got it right which materials are where, and one of the materials on there I don't actually know what it is. I've got a fair guess, but I'm not actually sure what it is. So let's go through front to back, top, bottom to top, and look at the materials that make up this Animal Instinct in a minute, after we've looked at these right here. What you're looking at there is the Animal Instinct OGs, if we can call them that, or if we're using the same name as this sneaker, 1.0s. But looking at those guys there, you can see that there's a bigger sort of black center to the sneaker, and then around the outside edge it's a fur based sneaker, if I can call it that. Leopard, zebra, that kind of thing, which are kind of fur based materials. But then flipping back to these guys, these 2.0s today, you can see that the materials on there aren't so much a fur pattern based, but they're more a leather skin based. Now, what we're definitely talking about is snake skin, crocodile skin, and ostrich skin. And I've got to try and remember where they are in each part of the shoe, and that one part of the shoe that I'm not sure what material it is. So let's start at the lowest, furthermost forward part of the shoe. And I think I'm right in saying, when we talk about the toe box, that it's snakeskin, and it's patterned and coloured snakeskin. It's like a grey and a white patterned snakeskin on it. And again, if I'm wrong in one of these materials in the wrong place, let me know in the comments down below. I have no, issues with people calling me out with the mistakes I make in the videos. So I call it, I don't know what to call that on the front of the sneaker, whether it's a toe box roll, toe box mud guard, but the very front part of the toe box there you can see, which is often, I won't say always, but often in that elephant print print is in a kind of light and grey snakeskin print on the front. And then one step up from that, still wrapping that toe box there, but not getting onto the sort of main section or the panel of the toe box. So we're on the overlays, but it's the underlay of the overlay. Then we're getting into that ostrich leather on there, I think. And I'm pretty sure it's ostrich leather because of the dimples in there. The snake skin is made up of those kind of scales that are kind of a bit tighter together, whereas the ostrich has got a bit more of a, space in it, and then the sort of dimples that appear throughout it. So I think we're talking about ostrich leather at 0.3, and then 0.4 is the crocodile leather, which runs most of the front end of the sneaker and into that midfoot section on there. And that's kind of defined by the larger sort of square patterns, which sort of vary in size. Whereas if you look at the snakeskin part of it, they tend not to vary in size, the size of the scales or the dimensions of the scales. They tend to be a bit more consistent than the crocodile leathers. But then if we get higher, that's where the point comes in that I'm not entirely what's going on here, because that's in the lacing system in the tongue, and hopefully I've zoomed in on the green screen here and you can see very closely the patterning on there. Now I'm thinking snakeskin, but I'm not entirely sure. The reason I'm thinking snakeskin is because, as I said before, the scales are a bit more uniform than the crocodile. There's no dimples on there, so I wouldn't go with ostrich, so I'm thinking snakeskin. But what it kind of reminds me of in a tiny little way, because of its uniform patterning and because of the tightness of the patterning, but not because of the shapes. The shape's more square. But what I'm thinking about is these LeBron 17 low LeBron Jameses, which are dropping soon, I think. Haven't dropped yet, but I did do a video for them already. And what that on there is stingray leather, and it's sort of a dimpled kind of tight effect. And then if we flip back over and have a look at the Animal Instinct 2.0, you can see tight in there that it's a very tight pattern up there on the lacing system and on the tongue. And now I'm going to compare that to these guys here. I'm not very good at showing shoes in the videos. Whenever I look at the videos back, I think, oh, that wasn't close enough. But I'm always worried that if I get too close, it's going to, be blurred or dominate the screen too much. So what I really want to do, though, is I want to find a way. Let's do it this way to focus in on the lacing system there. And you can see on these guys that the lacing system is in light grey with a perforated effect throughout. So hopefully that's visible. Maybe if I tilt it like that, it catches better light and you can see that material. And I'm talking about this light grey area here, and that's also visible around the back here, where you can see the dimpled effect, not dimpled effect, the perforated effect on the back of these guys. And just for reference's sake, the smooth leather on that lower part, and then the tumbled leather on the higher part, and then you've got the elephant print front and back. Now the elephant print is on the back end of these guys, which hopefully you can see here, but instead of being in this sort of classic kind of light grey, dark grey motif, what they're talking about on here is a sort of brown and grey motif, which gets to my second part of the video in a minute, which we'll talk about, is the colouring part of it, because the materials is one thing, because there's a lot of different materials going on there, and please do let me know about that tongue and lacing system on there. But then you get into the colours of these guys, and of course, like I said, there's a lot of black going on in there, but the grey and the white, or the grey and the light grey and the dark grey at the front with the snake skin, and then the brown and grey at the back with the elephant print. And then if you go up from that to the heel, now this is a classic heel right there, you know what I mean, the sort of oval shape, black, white branding on there. But if you look at these guys here, all yellow, and then a Jumpman on there that is in yellow, so you don't get that contrast that you get like this, where you've got the white on the black to give you the contrast. But that yellow there, and the yellow branding sort of soaks itself in there, very bright, very sort of ostentatious. And then right beside that, on the highest sort of section of the ankle, you've got that green part going on as well there. And then you come forward, and the eyelets in yellow, you've got the red Jumpman up there on the top of the tongue. So there's a bit more colour going on in these guys than maybe necessarily needs to be. So you've got many materials, and then you've got many colours, and not just many, but they're contrasting materials and contrasting colours. And my opinion is these guys right here. This is the Nike Air Jordan 2 women's Rivals, I believe that's called there. And I made the same observation in the video I made about those to talk about it today as well, is that I think you should choose one or the other. You should choose, to go wild with the colours and then stay sort of safe on the materials, or go wild with the materials and stay safe on the colours. But what I really feel they've done with this shoe is they've gone wild on both. Well, it's not necessarily wild in terms of the colours, but they definitely they've definitely overloaded on the materials and in the colours, and I think the two together is just a little bit too jarring for me. But that's just my opinion. I'm a very simple sneaker kind of guy. It's a beautiful shoe, but it's sort of simple shoe, right? There's nothing complicated about it. It's a red Jordan sneaker, and it's really beautiful. I just love that shoe. And I'm a simple shoes kind of guy, but you out there might not be. You might be, complicated, lots of patterns, lots of colours, lots of contrast, lots of clash, and that might be your thing. But my perspective, my opinion is that with this shoe, I would have preferred them to go safe with the colours and sort of take risks with the materials, or safe with the materials and take risks with the colours. But when they do the two together, it's a little bit jarring for me. But that's just my opinion. Please let me know if you have your opinion out there. I love to hear it when people tell me about what their opinion is and what's going on in their worlds and how things are. And if you agree with me about those, the new reality of sneaker drops, not knowing when the dates are, suddenly having them changed on you. I'm reminded of the Bread 4s, actually. I hadn't thought of this, but I remember when the Bread 4s were due to come out last spring, 2019. The date got changed and people were like, really taken by surprise. And I remember telling people, that date's been moved forward. I think it was a week, maybe 1 or 2 weeks moved forward. I think it was a week it was moved forward. And that was like a month or 6 weeks before the drop. But here we are with these guys, days before the drop. All of a sudden it appears on the Sneakers app out of the blue. And that's the new reality that we have to face now, is because they're going to either saturate the market because they want to get as much stock out as possible before people, no longer have ready cash, or they have to change the dates of things because a shoe that was going to coincide with, for example, the NBA Finals, because we should be in the playoffs right now, I think, and shoes that would have coincided with that are no longer dropping, so there's a hole in the market, so they have to bring something else into that hole, and that might be what happened with these Animal Instinct 2.0s. So for me, that's a new reality of sneakers and sneaker drops and buying sneakers, but that, again, it's a personal opinion. If you have a different opinion, or if you agree with my opinion, let me know in the comments down below. For now, though, time for me to sign off, and thank you guys for checking out my content. I truly do appreciate it. I know some of you guys, like I said, are really worried about the earthquake situation here, but I've been living in Japan for over 20 years, and I've had my fair share of shakes. Not saying that I'm complacent about it, but equally I'm not sitting at home panicking about it and wondering when it's going to happen. Things happen in people's lives. So I'm pretty chill about it. Hope you guys are chill about it too. Time for me to sign off. Thank you guys again for checking out the content. But you know what? At the end of every video, I get to say that I do this every single day. And that means that you are guaranteed to see me tomorrow.